As we're comfortably in the middle of Pokemon's 9th generation with over 1,000 creatures in the roster, surely we'd be able to bring all of our favorites into the Nintendo Switch. Well, most of them at least. Ever since Pokemon Sword and Shield began adding a cat to the Pokedex, it's been a toss-up whether any given Pokemon will be available in a main series video game. With 2 new generations, 2 remakes, and a prequel, almost every Pokemon has been able to touch the Nintendo Switch. The infamous few being the Elemental Monkey Trio, Furfrou, Patrat, and Watchog, and sometimes Spinda. Spinda is technically available in Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but it cannot be transferred from older games through Pokemon Home. It can be put into Pokemon Home, but it cannot leave. This is a long story due to the way that ILCA programmed the patterns the wrong way, but I basically covered it in a video I did before. In fact, a lot of the other Pokemon here I've also discussed at some point. Furfrou just somehow became a little less relevant, though it has a future in the upcoming Pokemon Legends ZA, and the Elemental Monkeys have struggled to find a place amongst the other starter Pokemon, but they haven't been completely forgotten, appearing in media like Pokemon Concierge. So the one evolution line that has seemingly been totally forgotten by Pokemon for no discernible region is that of Patrat and Watchog. I think the main reason behind this was their lack of popularity, which is a bit odd considering they're the early route normal types of the Unova region. And every other Pokemon in that general group has appeared on the Nintendo Switch except for them, and it isn't due to a lack of trying when they came out, because during Generation 5 these Pokemon were used in just about every situation possible. In the anime, anytime there's even a mention of a wooded area, you can be sure to see a Patrat or 2 running around, and there were some dedicated episodes that heavily featured Watchog, like the Harbor Patrol one, and of course it was Lenore's main Pokemon during the gym battle against her, and obviously it remained her signature Pokemon every time we saw her. But even in a spin-off game like Pokemon Masters, the 2 of them weren't added as a playable sync pair until just last year. Though for as much as this Pokemon was around during the days of Black and White, it wasn't really all that popular. I mean, these games had the most brand new Pokemon added of any generation, so while you'll definitely see a bunch of these guys early on, there are simply better normal types later on in the adventure. Patrat and Watchog basically play the same role as Rattata and Raticate, which are also not the best choice for a Pokemon to keep during your entire playthrough in the Kanto game. They have access to Hyper Fang, but compared to something like Snorlax, there's no competition. Basically the same deal for Patrat and Watchog. The main thing they have going for them is being able to learn Hypnosis, and that's something kinda cool and helps it stand out from the other early route normal Pokemon. Looking back and seeing how much Patrat was in the anime, I almost feel that they wanted to copy the formula that propelled Bidoof into meme status the generation prior. I mean, Patrat isn't totally ugly, it's a cute little chipmunk gopher prairie dog thing, a funny little body, a distinct personality, and they look best in a group of 2 or 3. Watchog, on the other hand, is definitely very colorful and harder on the eyes. Like, eyes are these Pokemon's whole deal, and they're really crazy looking. I personally don't dislike them, with the underwhelming performance in the game is what I feel made it one of the least popular Pokemon over the years, place or another. But when you really do put a hard cap on how many previous Pokemon you want to add from the previous generations, you are unfortunately bound to have a handful that just don't make it through. I think that by the time Generation 9 is completely finished, every Pokemon will have made it to the Nintendo Switch. Like for Mythicals and some Legendaries, at least are able to be transferred in even if they can't be caught natively. They are at least programmed into the game. So for a group of weird cases like these guys, I'm sure there's a future in store for them. It's just really funny that the number of returning Pokemon unavailable in the modern games is as low as 9 or 10 sometimes depending on who you ask. It feels like if they really just want to make it nice and even with Scarlet and Violet's DLC release, they could have squeezed in 10 more Pokemon. And it's really odd that out of all of them, Patrat and Watchog seem to be the least represented in all of Pokemon past their debut generation. So let me know what you think of these guys in the comments below and how you feel about the weird ways Pokedexes are being filled out as of recently. Anyway, I should start getting ready for our missing Pokemon to eventually finally come home. Maybe. Thank you to every channel member for your continued support, including the great Gators, Michael Snyder, KoiKoi13, Cemetery Hill, Pastel Blood, Cosmo Zero, Mr. Saturn, Rainfrux, Cheezit62, Alex Switch Shiny Hunter, Lockadox, GatorKid509, TF, Mathaclaw947, Taijirai, Justin R, Phantom, and Quago. If you would like to support, see your name here, get access to emotes for comments, live streams, and sometimes early videos, you can become a channel member today. You can also follow me on Twitter as well for more memes, but anyway, this is GatorX, and I'll catch you all later.
Pokemon trading card game Black and White is your gateway to a bigger Pokemon world. 70 new Pokemon, more than 110 cards. Pokemon trading card game Black and White, in stores now. Each booster pack of 10 cards sold separately. Cards vary by pack.